The time is just gone 11 minutes past 8 as we kick off this morning looking at the tragedy and the loss in Palestine. And we joined by Palestinian journalist who is based here in Johannesburg, Aziz Younis. Aziz, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran so much for
Yes.
having me.
Yes, Jazakallah khairan so much for joining us. And obviously, our hearts, our thoughts, our du'as go to the people of Palestine, as has been the case for well over a month now, since the carnage, since the brutality, untold proportions, unprecedented, and genocide in every sense of the word. And as I mentioned in my introduction, Alhamdulillah, Salam Media, we had been awarded with a Diamond Award yesterday, and we are dedicating this award to journalists in particular, and you, a journalist yourself, looking at your colleagues that have been slaughtered and people in right across Palestine. We're looking at the number of deaths also in the West Bank area. We know what is playing out in Al Quds, and clearly this situation is tragic, very, very heartbreaking, Aziz.
Yes, firstly, Mubarak on your award, and may Allah bless you with more. Thank you so much again for having me. The situation, as you guys mentioned, is horrific on the ground. We getting to over 11,000 people got killed by the Israelis. Um, 74% of them are children. So-called Hamas, as the Israelis like to say it. Over 30,000 people got injured. Some of them things that it will take years and years of to fix. You're having over 1.6 million people displaced from Gaza, which is already a displaced place who people forcibly got displaced from other place to area. Over 1,071 families that totally massacred. I mean, the family was wiped out from the history. The numbers, I lost 16 members of my family. I mean, it sounds horrific when you mention the numbers now. Now I just got the numbers in my mind, and it's really shocking. The journalist, according to the official numbers, not 39, it's like 43 now. So the numbers are a bit terrifying, to be honest.
Well, certainly. And also, I think, you mentioned personally for you, 16 members of your family, losing them in one go. And this is the sentiment that many people that we've spoken to out of Palestine, also analysts right across the entire world, someone along the line knows somebody or connected to someone in Gaza or in Palestine, and they have lost this person. And being so far removed from or the carnage that is unfolding, it's obviously very, very difficult because these are people you know, these are people you're connected with, these are people that are even your own blood.
Mm, mm, mm. That's absolutely right. There's no one that you can ask, especially Palestinians, that doesn't have someone who's connected to either like immediate family, as what happened to us, or like an extended family member who lost members. I know, I don't want to mention their names, but I know doctors in Joburg who lost 22 and 33 and 30 Palestinian doctors who's been here in South Africa for long. um, but Alhamdulillah, this is what you're gonna hear from a lot of Palestinians. And I'm thankful that you can hear that from us. Alhamdulillah for everything. Alhamdulillah for this. Whatever they demolished, we're gonna rebuild. And inshallah, this battle, as we say, is a liberation battle. Whatever they're gonna, how much are they gonna kill? Are they gonna kill 10,000, 11, 15, 20? They cannot wipe out the whole idea of the resistance that we have. And I'm not talking about the armed resistance as much as we proud of them. I'm talking about the sumud that everyone in Palestine has within them.
Well, definitely, and in fact, I actually seen the little piece that you wrote, and you say that we are still there. We thank Allah that our hope and our spirit is strong, and that is the spirit of the people of Palestine. That is the steadfastness. That is what the Palestinian nation. That what makes them so special, and that is why they've been chosen by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because this is a cause that the entire world has embraced. We won't talk about the political leadership, but just looking at the magnitude of support for the people of Palestine right across the entire world, that this is a cause that the world has embraced, and this is the reason why the world is amplifying the voices of the people of Palestine.
To be honest, I don't think that the Palestinians are special. As a Palestinian, I speak from that side, but I do think that we realize that the amana that we have, the front line that we standing in, the duty that we have towards, from an Islamic perspective, from Masjid al-Aqsa to Jerusalem, to a humanitarian perspective, to all our brothers from different faith, the duty that we have is heavy, and we need to be as strong to face this brutal, aggressive enemy. And therefore, I mean, we have to carry, and therefore we have to stand in front of this, massive destruction machine. I mean, we have to carry our dead bodies, babies, in front of the camera for the world to see, and yet you still, and the world hasn't moved yet. So we do understand the atrocity that we're facing, and inshallah we getting there.
Well, certainly, and I hear what you're saying, Aziz, and in all humility, you're saying that, there's nothing special about the people of Palestine. But the entire world obviously has seen this, because this is not only about what is happening right now in Gaza. We are talking of decades. We're talking of 75 years of resistance, 75 years of steadfastness. And you speak about the amana that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has actually entrusted the people of Palestine. And that alone speaks volumes in itself, to see, and to be able to sustain this resistance over these long periods of time. And as you mentioned, that how many more will they kill? At this point in time, we talk about 11,000. How many more? But at the end of the day, that is not going to break the spirit of the resistance of the people of Palestine. And we've seen it, the affairs have been left in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people are martyrs. These people are in a better place. They are shaheed. And we salute them for that as well. But also remaining optimistic, because you speak about, you say we can see the signs of victory and liberation coming soon, inshallah.
One of the things that we want everyone to know, that as difficult it is for us firstly, and for the world to see. I mean, I think for it's difficult for the, whether it's Palestinian or not, for the people from outside than the people inside. Subhanallah, whenever any difficulty comes, Allah put the sabr and the calmness in the people with these kind of difficulties. So sometimes we feel drained and tired, and we call them inside, and they give us hope, and they charge us, so one of the things that we want to say is, for everyone who's watching and sharing and marching and talking and writing and posting, do not stop. This is not the time for you to stop. This is not the time for you to get tired. I know it's exhausting. I feel it every day, and I don't have time to sit and process what happened so far. Whether it's my family, or whether it's our neighbors, whether it's what I see every day. I don't have time for that. I don't have that luxury. I have to go to work, and I have to sit with my friends, and I have to sit with my family and address the small tiny issues. But when with that, everything that you do matters. Every post matters. Every word that you share matters. Every march and a candle that you light matters. Do not stop now, and don't take a break from what happened, because our brothers there and our sisters there are not taking a break, and they standing still, and we want to be there for them.
Well, definitely, Aziz. Aziz, I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to play. We need to just go for an ad break. We'll be back with you.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nanny. Now I'm using tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like tib black seed. You can find Tib Black Seed at all leading pharmacies or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. You'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
The kitchen, the heart of the home, where memories are made and celebrated. Our go-to place for those freshly stacked pancakes early in the morning or for that late-night snack munchies. We are in there together, cooking, eating, and celebrating life together. Let's keep the kitchen a place that is shared by everyone, where we build stronger bonds and grow together. Sunfoil, now we cooking. Visit nowwecooking.co.za for recipes that everyone can help make.
The people of Palestine need your support now. Africa Muslims Agency is on the ground, already providing food, medication, and emergency supplies in Gaza. Donate any amount to Heal Palestine at africamuslimsagency.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity.
We continue with the broadcast this morning, and my guest, Palestinian journalist based in South Africa, in Johannesburg, Aziz Younis. Aziz, just to continue, and I just like your thoughts now. You are in South Africa, and we see so much happening in South Africa in response to the carnage and the brutality, and also the genocide that is unfolding. And looking at just from your side, your thoughts on the South African response, where even to the extent where we've seen even the government, it's been major talking points within government circles, in parliament as well, and also the stance that the ANC government has taken, and also refusing to be blackmailed, economic blackmail, by the likes of the United States of America for the position, and the role that South Africa can actually play in furthering the Palestinian cause, not only in this country, but also we influential in Africa, on the African continent, the African Union. So I just needed your thoughts as a Palestinian, your thoughts on the South African position.
We upload the South African stand, to be honest. It's I know it's silly to say it, but it's better than most of the Arab countries altogether. And we encourage the South African government. We raise the hat for them. We thank them for for their courageous, stand. And we applaud them to, and we ask him to do more. We ask him to push more, especially with things like the South Africans who participate in killing us, and killing our family, killing our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Whether it's the 72 members, or the recent ones in this battle. We encourage them to prosecute them. We encourage the South African government to close the Israeli embassy in South Africa, and to push for more resolutions to stop this genocide that is happening to our brothers and sisters. When it comes to the South Africans on the ground, to be honest, it's a position that I hold like dear in my heart. South Africans, you guys always teach us how to resist and how to fight and we learn from you, but we still need more. I know we take from your generosity, and we know that we can push for further, and we ask for further things more. More marches on the ground, more donations towards humanitarian aid, more posts and demands towards the government. We cannot push the South African government. We can ask them, but we cannot push them. But we know that you, as a South African, you can, demand things to be happening now in Palestine. The Israeli, occupation is based on aggression and ethnic cleansing and displacing people. Even when we so-called attack them with peace and olive branch and an Oslo agreement, it didn't work. So we want the South Africans, especially the South African government, to realize that the two-state solution is a dead solution, and we want them to address the other solutions that the Palestinians want, not the so-called other side.
Well, certainly, and I think what you're saying is in terms of the narrative that is being pushed around the two-state solution, and we've seen that many politicians have actually bought this, but we know that there is the history of betrayal on the part of the Zionist regime. They've never ever stuck to any of the accords or any other resolution mechanisms, the United Nations resolutions. They've never ever adhered to, and we just see this arrogance over and over again, to the point that the South African government has also been abused by the likes of the ambassador, calling South Africans, calling the government even the scum of the earth. This is the most crude terms in terms of how the South African government has seen. Yet the South African government has made it very, very clear in terms of its bold position. You know, you speak about prosecution. We've seen now senior government officials talking about prosecuting someone like Benjamin Netanyahu as a war criminal. Now, all of that needs to be followed up. And within South Africa, we've got structures. We've got structures like the Muslim Lawyers Association that have prosecuted previous people like Tony Blair, like Narendra Modi. And I'm sure with the call across the entire world for prosecution, South Africa is ideally placed because we've got international jurisdiction as well. And the global community, in fact, people across the entire world, is looking at South Africa, and South Africa can play a huge role and take a lead in this particular instance.
No, no, 100%. I agree with you, and I think South Africa has a major role, not just in the African continent, which is important, because the previous year we saw Israel, invading, if that's the right word, with its money and economy and politicians, the African continent, and they used that to kind of bend the hand of the continent, and South Africa stood firm against that. And we know that South Africa plays a major role in the continent and in the world. When there's a conflict, or when there's a war, South Africa always there with its just stand and just flag, as they say. We need the South African government to understand that we are fighting, not for rice or food or water. We're fighting for our existence. We're fighting for our women to deliver babies not on the street or on checkpoints. We're fighting for our kids not to live for 2 or 3 years and then getting killed. We're fighting for our fathers and our brothers not to be rotten in jail for 45, 50 years. We're fighting for more than just food and water. And I do think that South Africa can take a more broader, kind of stronger stand.
Yes, just finally, Aziz, looking at what is happening in Gaza right now, and perhaps the people of Palestine better than what we do, because this is your blood, these are your families, these are your friends. What is actually going through the mind of ordinary people in Gaza right now when we see all of this brutality and the genocide unfolding around them?
One word, what goes inside everyone's mind: how to resist, how to the sumud, the sumud, how to stand still. They demolish my house. I don't want them even to see my tear. I don't want them to see that I broke down. They've been killing us for 75 years, but now it's for the first time we fight back and we get what ours back. For the first time, we're not gonna die on our knees. We're gonna die standing. This is what's happening, and I'm not just being emotional and I'm giving you like a fantasy thing. Open the news and see a guy whose entire family got killed. His house is demolished behind him. He's carrying his baby, his dead body's baby, and he's telling you like, we standing behind the resistance. We're gonna fight this aggressive regime, and we're gonna win. You cannot defeat people like this, and this is in everybody's mind. People cannot find food, cannot find water, cannot. People's family got killed. A lot of orphans now. Yet everyone wants to resist and want to fight for every last minute of their life.
Alhamdulillah, and like we say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control, and these are people that have attained the level of martyrdom. This is the ultimate price. This is the ultimate sacrifice that they've had to make. They paid with their blood, they paid with their life, and we continue making dua for them, and we continue, inshallah, with our unwavering support in whatever way we can for the people of Palestine. But for now, Jazakallah so much, Aziz, for taking time out and talking to us at Salam Media, inshallah. We wish you all the best, my brother, as well. And please take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Shukran so much.
Aziz Younis joining us, Palestinian journalist based in Johannesburg, and he sums it up so well, Samud. And this is what the Palestinian nation is actually made up of, and really welcoming whatever is coming to them by way of all the brutality, everything that they've lost. They've lost everything in life. Their children, many of them lost their parents, many of them have lost, they've just lost basically everything, but yet they remain committed, they remain steadfast, and they remain hopeful, and never ever have they lost mercy in the hope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most merciful, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. And they believe firmly that the time will come when justice will be served. The time is just gone 8:34. Next up, we'll be joined by Ashraf Patel.
To keep our mental state defensive and within the conflict. You see, the moment we rise above the conflict, our consciousness elevates and we begin to make out the patterns. But they want us to remain so intensively zoomed in, so all we see are pixels, just like an image. But let's zoom out for a second and see the full picture. Do you condemn? We've heard this melody before. In fact, it has echoed across centuries. 56 million Native Americans was killed, and the question was, do you condemn the wild red Indians? 250,000 perished when nuclear bombs devastated Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the question was, do you condemn Pearl Harbor? 3.6 million people has been killed in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Syria, Libya, Somalia, and Yemen, and the question was, do you condemn 9/11? Over 1 million people were killed in Iraq, and the question was, do you condemn the weapon of mass destruction? The list is long, but you get the full image now. It's the same story with different villains. And here we are, once again. Do you condemn Hamas? Another attempt to justify brutal killings. This is not a war between religions, because those who are behind it, they don't believe. This has always been about power and resources, and that's the bigger picture. Expecting a solution from those who created the web is like a bug asking the spider for its freedom, not realizing the purpose of the web.